Saturday Night Racing League is ready to bring flag-to-flag coverage live here on VSPEED.
2.5 mile, 31 degrees of banking, open back February 1959.
Coming by the lead lap number 1, Jeff Wright by about 0.02 of a second gets that lap led. Across the line, Bailey Turner with 2 tires is going to get the victory.
Michael Sturgill is going to steal the win at Kentucky in unbelievable fashion.
All right. Gentlemen, start your engine! Get ready.
Lost on the bottom, looking for his first career win on Saturday night. Pushed by Ryan Carlisle. Bailey Turner on the top. At a turn number 4 they come. That's fun. Turner's getting the push. There goes Cabin for the win. He gets blocked below the line. There's contact, but Bailey Turner will cross the line first.
Live from Michigan International, it is the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors.
Where does Reggie Ortega go? He doesn't dare 4 wide, does he? They're making contact. 24-48. Split 3x3 in the turn number 1. There's 5 laps to go.
Jeff Wright's going to benefit from this if he can keep it off the wall.
He went to the middle again. There's no room for it again. That's going to hurt Jeff Wright. Push him up the track. Jeff Wright fades back.
It's over. Jag Klinger's going to claim chase race number 1 from Michigan. Live here tonight on VSPEED. It's the Monster Mile here in Delaware.
Ball hard, no less. These dry mind, no test. These whip glide like
It's a Klinger. Bailey Turner's crash.
The 24 is destroyed in turn 3.
Carlisle and Stravato came together.
And Adam Cabin is checked out. It looks like it's all over. The 17 on this new update finds another way to victory lane. The 17 of Adam Cabin is your winner at Dover.
Oh,
Happy act got nailed.
And he's still side by side somehow with Bailey Turner. It worked out for him. But Josh Adams trying to do it here at Iowa. This would be his 2nd win of the season. Klinger and Turner side by side for a second. It's going to be a battle to the line, but it's Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Here we go, live from Homestead. It's Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors, Season 4 finale. They're going to go 3 wide for the top spot. Adams dives it to the inside in 3 and 4. Klinger on the high line. Herodes just trying to hold on to it. Off of turn 4, the final time. Ryan Carlisle is going to find his way to victory lane. Bailey Turner holds on to become the 4th champion of the Saturday Night Racing League. Well, after 7 weeks of racing Saturday night style, we've had several different winners, but a consistent trend from last season. Bailey Turner continues to lead the points dating all the way back to the beginning of this year. Who's it going to be? Live from Kentucky, Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. So we're going to take this back a little bit. There's a lot of history throughout this season and previous seasons. But the more that we get into this, Connor, Bradley Cooper, Connor Horn up here in the booth. Connor, I got to say, it looks like we might have a back-to-back champion the way things are trending.
It's very far away from that season finale. A lot of weeks away. Got a long way to go before we get to the end of December and get to Atlanta. But Bailey Turner is definitely staking his claim as trying to get that second championship, be the first one in series history to do it. But Jeff Wright is also right there. Even with missing a race, he's only about 50 points behind. So there's no doubt that 48, especially in this Gen 4 car, he's accustomed to so well. Even with one less race, he's still second in points with 3 wins to his name, with Bailey Turner's only victory being at Daytona. And Turner's kind of struggled a little bit, but he's been consistent enough to keep that points lead. Obviously, Joshua Banks a winner a few weeks ago. That was a big win for him. You got 3 of the former champions in the top 3. Joseph McWhorter even in the 6th position on points. He's having a bounce back season. Way too early to claim who's going to win the title, but not surprised to see all the champions up there battling. Also, Horonis, J.R. Shepard, who knows, they could steal it. Chuck Sweetings and Nate Janowski, Kenny Kibbe hang on to a top 10. You still have some winners in the series this season, not in the top 20 in points. Shed Klinger's 22nd, and Nathan Ferrada right behind him. So you never know where those guys might poke their nose into the chase in a few months' time.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, it's too early to call, but I like to create a little bit of drama here because it's been a while here in Saturday Night Racing League where you've had the same driver have such a standoff start to both seasons in a row. You know, go back to season 1 where Bailey Turner had kind of an abysmal season, and just how the confidence level has changed. Sometimes when you ride that train, you take it all the way to the other side and you don't know when it's going to stop. So I think for the 24, this has just been a phenomenal season and a phenomenal string of about 20 races. We're going to take a look here at Kentucky Speedway while we have the opportunity. And, you know, Kentucky 1.5 miles opened June 6, 2000. And it was a very short lifespan, though, on the Cup Series schedule. And I know this track is still in operation for the most part, but there's just, it's a weird ambiance to come here. You look at a track that's so young, and it goes back to maybe Auto Club, also one of those tracks that, you know, it maybe could be discontinued.
Yeah, one of those tracks that was pretty new. Obviously, a big deal when they got a Cup date 14 years ago. Darrell Waltrip saying it was going to be the next big track. You know, had some good moments, some great finishes. The last 2 years, it was on the Cup Series schedule. I mean, great finishes. Had Kurt Busch win in 19 and 2020. Cole Custer somehow stole that victory. Still don't know how that happened, but track that produced great racing. The repave was obviously a little controversial. The old surface was good, but obviously the new surface, like we said, you got a lot of those good finishes on the new surface, and it's a pretty unique track. It's almost like a reverse of Texas Motor Speedway, where you have the high banked corner on the other end of the racetrack in 1 and 2, and then the flatter part of the track where you have to lift and really be careful is what's in 3 and 4. So those turns are a little bit flipped, and we've raced on both track surfaces on iRace. We've raced at the old track season 1 in the Gen 4. Seth Hatchell took victory that time, and last season it was chaos with Michael Sturgill stealing that one, and who knows what to expect tonight.
Well, I can tell you what we can expect tonight. We're going to have 140 laps here at at Kentucky. You call it Texas, 45 miles per hour. Actually have an X there in the typo, but 5 tire sets available, 3 green-white checkered attempts, 100% fuel as a rule change on the iRacing Fix setup. But now it's time to take you trackside and get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the top spot tonight, with a chat to take a guess, I bet they won't get it right. It's going to be Bryce Calusa in the number 20, a 31.649. He beat Jeff Wright by 1/100th of a second. 48 car going to start to his outside for this one. Row number 2 going to Joseph McWhorter. Ray Massey with a great start here today in row number 2. And then 5th position, Bailey Turner, defending champion, leading the points with Chad Klinger as his win in the regular season. He'll start in 6th. Ryan Carlisle and Reggie Ortega going to start 7th and 8th. And rounding out the top 10 is Hunter Sr. Angelo Oronis in the number 29.
And then, like you said, definitely surprise on pole. Bryce Calusa's first pole in this series. 11th place starting position, Donnie Kite, winner at Talladega last season. Some of the Juicy Spider drivers on the same row. Nick Capiax to his outside in 12th. 13th place, Case Lakatos. Yes, he's actually in the 50 car this week, which everyone's happy about. He starts 13th. Andrew Telganoff, who he was stealing that number from, the real 3 car, will start 14th. Elliot Butler, the Taco Bell Monte Carlo, 15th for him. Caleb Weekly, the Trevor Project Monte Carlo, 16th position. Ben Lafter, Calusa's teammate, will start back in 17th position. Alongside him, Josh Adams, who's trying to get his season back on track. He had a good run last weekend. And then Stephen Davis in the 60, the UPS Ford Taurus. Last year to put a time down, starts 19th. Dave Stravato, his first start in a few weeks, he starts 20th.
Kenny Kimmy and J.R. Shepard will start 21st and 22nd for row number 11. You go to Joshua Banks and James Lehman to 23rd and 24th. Joshua Banks deep in this field. Chuck Sweeting starting 25th. Eddie Trejo 26th. Then you have Chris Hodges and Nathan Ferrata. Still try to get that name right. 30th position with Matt Chnosky. And Keith Shoemaker, you actually have Austin Belke ahead of him. With Keith Shoemaker rounding out your field here tonight. It's week number 8. Connor, we haven't done this in a while, so I'll take it to the start of this race. But after we hit turn 1, I gotta ask, who's your pick to win tonight? With Bryce Calusa on the pole, throw everything I know about Kentucky out the window. Here we go for week 8, Saturday Night Racing League and M&J Distributors, live on VSPEED. Here we go. 140 laps. Jeff Wright going to hold on for lap number 1. He takes by the 20 car into turn 1. Quick pass there for the 48. He wants to get to that clean air.
Yeah, definitely quick pass, and Calusa just didn't have the grip on the bottom of the racetrack. Got really sideways, maybe getting air packed on the rear of that car by McWhorter, but he was at least able to keep that runner-up spot for now. And you see drivers trying to fight for that yellow line, but you're really going to see that line move up the racetrack, really the middle of the racetrack at this new version of Kentucky, at least in the next-gen cars. That's where you'd usually want to be. It's where we saw a lot of drivers running last season in next-gen car. I wouldn't be surprised to see that group move up there once again, but right now everyone's just trying to fight for the bottom of the racetrack.
Side by side, just ahead of Angela Horonis with Chad Klinger and Reggie Ortega. It just wasn't a good night there for Ortega at Dover. I know that his season has started off a little rocky, but he's had a lot of potential. I mean, top 10 every single week for the start of these things. He's running really good in the number 2. Just got to seal the deal here.
It's going to be a lot of work to seal the deal. Like you said, had a rough time last week. Dover did not go his way, involved in a few incidents, at least 2, maybe 3, ended up having to park it. But he's had speed, like you said. He's got some top 10s this season. He's been in contention for wins. He almost took Daytona away from Bailey Turner. Wasn't quite able to. Got a spin in the back. Josh Adams got booted by James Lehman in the back of the pack, and he hit the wall hard.
Caution is out. Lap number 4. I was just about to say 5 laps in. Jeff Wright had already stretched the lead out to around 3.5, 4/10 of a second. That clean air was working out for him, but now we're going to have a new situation. Bryce Calusa able to hold to the top 2. Maybe he can take the advantage on the outside. Let's go back on a replay and find out what happened to the 6.
Thought I saw the 0-5 in this. There he is. He gets a run, 3 wide. He's going to look to be inside of Josh Adams and just boots him. I don't know, Lehman just fired it in there too far, and James Lehman actually got spun under yellow as well by someone else, which I'm not sure what that was about, but like we said, turn 3, he just got into 3 a little too deep, got into the 6, spun him out, but I saw the 0-5 spinning in turn 2 at some point. Shouldn't see too many people pit here.
Take it on around here on the racetrack on the replay and see what happened. Maybe a driver reading his Twitch chat here?
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'd love to see that one on replay. Get that on a VSPEED short. Oh my goodness, he almost flipped. Look out, John Sanu.
Let's go back one more time here. We'll take it back even further, and we got to look here. Do it justice for the 6.
See Lehman here gets a big run, sees the gap to the inside, but it just closes up, and it's such a wide corner. You think you're going to be able to have that room because it's such a wide corner, but it's such a flat corner is the issue, and you're really fighting to get low on the racetrack at this point in the race. So I think a little bit, another driver probably backs out of that, doesn't go for that because they know the situation. Lehman a little bit too, I don't know, energetic is the best way I could put it. Just drove it in a little too deep and booted 6. Don't think Josh Adams will be happy about that one, but I'm sure he's happy Joshua Banks got him back for him.
So a flip on the scenario from the start of this race. Jeff Wright took over the lead very quickly. Now Bryce Caluso will be on the outside if Jeff Wright elects to be on the left. I don't know. What's your call here, Connor? Do you think Jeff Wright would do good in either lane? Which one would you pick?
Depends who he wants to run second. I think if he wants to keep McWhorter behind, I think he'd pick the outside. But if he wants to keep Bailey Turner back there, he'd pick the inside. I think Jeffy's probably more worried about the guys on row 2 more than row 1. No disrespect to Bryce Calusa, but Calusa, he hasn't been a driver we've seen at the front a lot. Jeff Wright probably doesn't know how he's going to race him, so probably just wants to keep the guys he's been racing for the wins all season behind him. And I think if it was up to me, if I was Jeff Wright, I'd probably pick the inside so Turner's pinned behind Calusa, but it's his decision ultimately. I think he'll pick the bottom.
And you got it right here, so let's see if you can get it right on which driver is going to win this race. Based off of these first 4 or about 5 laps under green, who do you think has the best shot here, Connor?
Before we went green, I kind of zeroed in on Bailey Turner, and not, Jeff Wright may be a little too easy, but I think Bailey Turner is really good at this racetrack. He's learning this Gen 4 car, and this is a track he dominated at last season, led a lot of laps at last season, was really fast. If it wasn't for late race yellow, he was going to win this race, and he still almost won this race. I think he's owed one at this racetrack, so I think Bailey Turner's going to figure it out, and I think he's going to go to victory lane and get that Coca-Cola car a victory.
Well, I'm hoping that this race stays clean and green, and we can see some strategy here. Be a possibility of a 3-stop race. About 50 laps on the fuel and 55-ish, maybe if you push it. I'm going to throw out somebody we haven't mentioned here in a while in victory lane. I think it's going to be the 29 of Angelo Horonis in the number 29 machine. He's just coming off of a little bit of a slump here. I think he's got the patience to get it.
He was so close on Tuesday in BTDY, just didn't make the move at the right time. Still looking for that first win in Saturday Night Racing League, I believe.
Here we go for our second start of the day. Back underway at Kentucky. Jeff Wright wasting no time to get that jump into turn 1. Calusa gets pinned up on the outside.
Uh-oh. Someone sliding back there. Oh, Kenny Kibbe got
Kibbe,
turned.
big wreck in the turn 1 and 2, and Chad Klinger involved. Caution's out again. Tough break for Klinger. He's destroyed.
Chuck Sweeting got a lot of big damage in that. That's Klinger's day done. It's probably Kibbe and Sweeting's days done. That was a big wreck for where we weren't even close to top speed. First car I saw sideways was Telganoff, and then it was Kibbe. They're all in a lane here. See if it's a stack up. Oh, Telganoff gets into Donnie Kite, and then James Lehman can't check up for Kenny Kibbe, who was stopping for the wreck, and Klinger Sweeting nowhere to go.
And Telganoff saved that car down on the apron. We'll back this up one more time, but he put a lot of wheel in this thing and was able to save. He was going to lose a lot of positions here, but he slid down out of the racing line, and then it's just chaos behind him.
Yeah, the wreck saves him from losing a bunch of spots, and it's unfortunate. Lehman's going to be, it might get fault for that again. It was just kind of a checkup. Not much he could really do, honestly. He might not have been able to react in time, but he definitely hits Kibbe when Kibbe checks up, sees the 3 sliding. and just doesn't get on the brakes in time.
Yeah, that's a hard one to react to there. That one happens quickly, and I don't know if we could really pin that one on the 05. The one before, maybe. This one's a little bit different.
Had some more pit stops that time. Not really anyone at the front. I think the furthest car up that pit was J.R. Shepard, it was J.R. Shepard. He was running 20th. He also has some damage on the left front from that crash. Klinger's already out of the race car, and I'm sure if he could leave the virtual track, he could. Probably not happy. It's not been a good season. I mean, he has to win at Pocono, but other than that, he's not been getting finishes.
And putting us under caution within the first 10 laps 2 times here already. Weather on the top of your screen, 126 degrees, the track temperature. We were talking to Joseph McWhorter there in the pre-race. He mentioned the fuel and the distance, but he also said the right rear is melting off of this car. And it's most likely going to come down to who can save that right rear the longest. And if we get a green flag run, only about a second and a half of fall off.
I tell you what, if we get a caution in like 10 laps or so, you'll probably see drivers come down to pit. If not for tires, definitely a tank of fuel. It would probably put them much closer to making a 1-stop work, but probably going to see 2 stops today. Don't think second and a half of fall off. It's not going to be enough to get an extra stop out of anyone unless they're pretty desperate. We'll just have to wait and see.
Getting set to double back up here. Third start of the day. Jeff Wright to the inside now has Joseph McWhorter to the outside for this one. Bryce Calusa falling back to 4th, your pole sitter. Actually back to 3rd, I apologize. And we'll have Bailey Turner at his outside, Ray Massey, Ryan Carlisle, Reggie Ortega, Hunter Sr., Nick Hapiak, and Angela Hirones. Top 10 on this restart. Let's see.
Out of the race and into the admin booth. Chuck Sweeting also 2 laps down, but he's still in the car trying to get back out there.
Well, let's see if we can find that green flag and maybe throw away that caution flag for the remainder of this one.
Let's get out of turn 2.
Yeah.
Watch the stack ups. I mean, this is another kind of part of this racetrack. It's kind of weird because both ends of this track are completely different, but the track, like where you can race on the track, is kind of narrow at the start of these races. I mean, even in 1 and 2, you're going to be pinching the guy on the inside to the bottom of the racetrack, not giving an inch. That's going to cause stack ups, and that's kind of why we saw that crash happen. The 26 checks up, 3 hits him, gets sideways, then it's just a chain reaction all the way to the back of the field until there's a wreck. We'll see if we get out turn 2 here, and we'll see what type of jump Jeff Wright gets. He got a really good one last time.
There we go with our restart camera, provided by Dougie Beer. Lap 12 underway in Kentucky. Another great restart for Jeff Wright, and borderline 3 wide there for a moment. That's the 2 of Ortega looking to go to the top 5. He'll get to the inside of Ryan Carlisle. He'll get a 2-for-1 special possibly.
Trying to get it at least. He's on the outside of the racetrack. Like we said, might see that groove move up there later in the race. It was a much better jump for McWhorter that time, though. From 2nd, he was able to really stay with Jeff Wright, at least keep him in the vicinity. But kind of like Dover, if you don't get him on the restart, he might check out in a hurry, as those top 2 got away from Calusa.
A 7 of Ferrata, looking for 3 wide here through 1 and 2.
I don't think you want it. A little bit of contact on Kite Caleb Weekly. Weekly kind of scraping the wall a little bit, but this is a hornet's nest near the back, and Nathan Ferrata running the highest of anyone. I do not recommend running the outside wall here, but he's sure as heck trying it.
Did that a few weeks ago when we were back at Auto Club, I believe.
Heck, that was a month or 2 ago at this point, and he was doing it well. He was hitting the wall, but he was still making speed as Battle of the lead heat, and McWhorter caught Jeff Wright and got him arrow loose. A big wiggle from Jeff Wright out of turn 2. McWhorter's right there.
Going to have the advantage going out of turn 2, but going to lose some of that going into the flatter part of the racetrack. The outside going to work a little bit better for Jeff Wright, as long as he doesn't run out of racetrack.
the age-old fight for clean air. If you have a shot at it, you're going to do everything in your power to get it. And McWhorter saw his opportunity. He's going to try hard to get by him, but that move to the inside, if you can get to his inside at 2, that's great. But if you don't clear him in turn 3, you're not going to get that run out of 4. It is so tough to keep it pinned down to the yellow line into turn 3. We saw a lot of contact at this part of the track last season because of that. And Jeff Wright knows that. I mean, you can see how much room he's given him, not willing to pinch him. But McWhorter even still almost made contact.
This is a throwback to maybe that race back in, was it Charlotte there, Connor?
This season? Saw a lot of it. I'm sure they remember it.
Yeah, they definitely remember it.
I wonder who remembers it more. Who remembers it more fondly? Because neither of them won.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, we actually had 3 different instances of championship drivers kind of throwing the race away, racing each other.
Yeah, just letting Nathan Parada get that victory. And I liked what McWhorter did there, whether it was by design or not. He didn't really try to pass him in turn 2. He kind of tried to maybe get him error loose in 3 and 4 and set that up for turn 1. I think that's what you have to do. If you get to the driver's inside into 2, you're not going to be able to make that move stick unless you just drive the guy into the wall, which, you know, we did see that at Charlotte, but I don't think you're going to do it on lap 17 of a 140-lap race. I think you got to set up the move here, pack the air on the spoiler, add a turn 4, get the run in the 1. I think you have a much better shot making the pass there.
Watching the battle back here around the 15th position. So battle for the lead stays hot. About a 10th separating these 2 drivers into turn 1. Let's go back here to Joshua Banks. He's riding from deep in this field. Started back in 23rd. Elected not to take a time. He's up to 16th.
Whether he elected not to put a time down or he messed up in queue, starting way at the back, was kind of in the hornet's nest. He was right by that incident with Lehman and Josh Adams, and he was right behind the big crash with Kenny Kibbe as well. So still a lot of work to do. He's only 17th position right now, still trying to get the work and get through this field.
Halfway up through it, Chad Klinger an early exit to this race. Chuck Sweeting down pit road to get damage repaired. He's 6 laps down. It's Kenny Kibbe in the 14, the last car on the lead lap, and you wouldn't think that because he has heavy, heavy damage.
Yeah, 14 nose totaled. He's just kind of going to wait for yellows to breed yellows and get back in this. Meanwhile, Chuck Sweeting took the other route, just repaired it all and just decided to go laps down, and we'll see which strategy works better, I guess. The battle for the lead's kind of still single file. This is actually the high side-by-side battle. It's for 12th, Elliott Butler, Donnie Kite.
Butler the advantage on the outside coming out of turn 2. Kite will fall in line. Now Donnie Kite peeking to the inside again. This yellow line, like he's talking about, Connor, is going to migrate up towards that wall, but then you start to run out of racetrack. That's the problem here with the flat corner out of 4. It's very easy to run it up too wide, get back on the throttle too soon. It's a cookie cutter kind of intermediate track, but we're used to Chicagoland, Kansas, and Las Vegas, where you have a lot of banking there through the middle of 3 and 4.
A lot of banking. You don't have it here, but you have a lot of room, so you think you could throttle up early and get out of the corner because of all that room, but that wall comes up in a hurry to where you're not ready for it. You're going to use all of the racetrack at both ends of the racetrack, out of 2 and out of 4. You're not going to use that apron too much. There's a big bump past the start-finish line on that apron in the tri-oval that you're going to have to be very careful of if you try to make a move later in this race and try to get aggressive.
I saw that upset the suspension there just a few weeks ago here on VSPEED, and of course this car is even more temperamental because of all the horsepower. You're on full throttle through that tri-oval, you hit that bump, it's going to go sideways.
Yeah, especially in these cars where you don't have a lot of grip on old tires to begin with tonight. That's something that it's kind of risk versus reward, and I'm not sure if the reward is worth the risk of maybe getting yourself sideways and putting to the outside wall entering turn 1. It's something drivers going to have to weigh the risks of at some point, maybe test the waters before you get to the end of this race.
And looking at the positions gained or lost on the left-hand side of your screen, Stravano up 11 positions, up to 9th. So far, the biggest mover, Clark Print Shop Biggest Mover Award going. All right, take that back. Parada up 16, so he's definitely keeping pace.
Another driver who didn't put a key time down, getting through the field, getting through the incidents in his Ford Taurus. Almost into the top 10, not too far behind Travato, actually, trying to work over Elliott Butler for 11th, as those top 4 have kind of gotten away from us. We're 3 wide in the background for 7th. That's Licata, Travato, and Reggie Ortega in the midst of that. Licata said, I do not want a part of this.
That's another position close there for Travato, but not a good exit off of 3 and 4. That'll open up the door for Licatis. And the number 50, as presented in that number 3 style paint scheme. Travato really drove it in there, one there. He's going to clear him.
Can't tell if Licatis wanted to cross over or just wanted to get in behind the 33 to keep Ray Massey behind. Either way, gets in line. Does look to the inside of Travato, trying to get those left sides on that paved part of the racetrack, although it doesn't really act like a grip strip. It doesn't really do much of anything, as Massey and Ferrado almost had contact back there for about the 10th position.
James Lehman, who's kind of picking this field apart now at this point. Had a few hiccups there at the start, but he's all over the back bumper of Ferrada.
Picking apart in what way? I think Josh Adams would have a word about that, but he still got a lot of speed to get all the way back up here after getting, I think, a little bit of front end damage, got that repaired, and ripping the outside like you've seen him do at so many tracks. Massey got pretty sideways, got air packed on the spoiler by Donnie Kite. Now he's going to go backwards. Lehman's going to get all those spots up to 11th.
So the top 3 is split off a little bit here. Bailey Turner is starting to reel them in, though. Seems like every other lap, Turner a little bit quicker, but then he gives back a 10th. And
oh, crash. Turn 2, got driver's slide, and Donnie Kite. I had contact with Elliott Butler, and they somehow saved those cars. I thought that was for sure going to be a crash, and somehow we're still green. I see what happened. Saw Kite sideways. Oh, we
check up
Elliott Butler, and they both had to do a 4-wheel drift to save it. That was sweet. Tokyo Drift. About as far away from Tokyo as you can get in Kentucky, but yeah, Butler checks up early just to stay off of Massey. Kite's not ready for it. Great job, both those drivers saving that car. It actually hurt Josh Adams a lot more because he had to go to the wall to avoid him.
Them losing a few spots, back to 16th for Butler. Adams back to 17th. And it's one of those pucker up moments.
I'll say. That's one of the worst places to get sideways. Exit the corners, whatever. You're sideways entering the corner, you're in trouble for the rest of the corner. Yeah. It's hard to get that grip back. I mean, these drivers are going to be fighting those cars a lot more than everyone else around them now that the rear tires are lit up like that. With Butler, you're kind of seeing fading because of that. Bryce Calusa for second.
Yeah, he has moved up. I mean, showing the speed that he had in qualifying. McWhorter able to defend that time. The 73 was able to keep pace with Jeff Wright for a couple laps there, but I haven't really seen anybody that's been able to compete with that clean air, and I think that's the factor for Jeff Wright, as long as he can maintain it.
Let's be real. Going back to really the first half of Charlotte, we haven't really seen that many people able to keep up with Jeff Wright since the update. When Jeff Wright got put in 30 air at Charlotte, he couldn't recover, but he was fast again at Pocono. He was great at Dover. His only challenger there was Adam Cabot before the hardware failure. He's 48, knows how to get it done, and I think he was definitely saving stuff, but he was doing it at a comfortable distance, because you put enough dirty air on the driver right behind you, it's going to negatively affect them for the rest of the run, especially if it's a long run, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was just doing that, trying to keep as much dirty air on McWhorter's front nose without getting himself arrow loose, and once he sees McWhorter struggling, then he drives away.
Battle for 12th between Joshua Banks and Ray Massey. Massey starting to struggle with the handling a little bit here. And you can tell Joshua Banks is aware of that. He's going to try to use this situation against him. 23 way up high here into 3 on the entry. Will he pinch down off the exit? No, he will not. He'll stay way out wide. And Banks going to have another advantage through the tri-oval.
you're starting to see more and more drivers starting to inch up towards the outside part of the racetrack, like a groove higher at both ends of the racetrack, starting to get that, trying to use that to get a run off the corner. Saw Calusa try that on McWhorter, just couldn't quite make it work, and his Banks got way sideways out of turn number 2 that time, trying to make this pass work on the inside. Ray Massey, he's using that outside right now just as a defense mechanism, just trying to hang on to the car right now.
He's held on to it pretty well. But that outside already burning up the right rear, Connor, and you start running higher and higher up the racetrack. You saw it with Ferrata there. He's kind of going the wrong way now, and I think it's gonna burn off the right front even faster. You'll feel faster for about 10 laps or so, but eventually you got to migrate back down the racetrack.
Probably gonna have to at some point. It's just all about where your car is the fastest and or handling the best. Hopefully you're getting both, but it's not always the case, as I think everyone's kind of experimenting. Like, we haven't ran this car at this track ever. We ran it at the old surface with the old Gen 4 cars, completely different scenario, completely new race for pretty much all these drivers. And it's not a track most drivers are going to race it fixed. It's just kind of a new experience for everyone.
Top 4 have checked out here.
Nick at top 5. Nick Hapiak's caught Bailey Turner.
I thought Turner was on the move, but he got into that air from Bryce Calusa, and it looked like he went stagnant.
Yeah, just nowhere to go. And even McWhorter's kind of in front of Calusa. Calusa can't really get around McWhorter. Jeff Wright's starting to pull away, and Bailey Turner is dancing that car. He's kind of in the wall a little bit. I think he's just going to give this one to Hapiak.
I don't know if he's going to give it to him. He's going to fight back on the outside.
I thought he would. Hapiak got a decent run out of the corner, though. If he could just stay on the right rear, the one, he's still got a chance to keep the spot, but this is tough to fight back from, and Hapiak just slammed the door shut, basically, but he's going to drive it back to the inside, trying to fight him right back.
Its position back here. 1.5 seconds to Ryan Carlisle, Reggie Ortega in 7th position. And it's pretty much a cluster from 6th, 7th on back to Ferrata in the 07. It kind of goes back to the beginning of this race and not taking qualifying times. A lot of these drivers started outside of this top 10 that are now 8th on back.
Funny, I've been watching Hapiak and Turner the entire time. Hapiak got by Bailey Turner, but Turner keeps packing air on him to the point where Hapiak can't get away, and they keep staying side by side just like this. It's allowing the second place battle to get away, as Travato's still battling with Lehman for the 9th to 8th position. Lehman's actually going to get that spot back. Ferrata's right there as well. Every time Hapiak gets clear, and now he went to the middle. He saw what was happening. He just tried to move up to get away from that, but even still on corner exit, he's getting way sideways because Turner will not back off.
The hardest drivers to pass on this racetrack is that 24.
Caution. Got a crash.
Josh Adams is around again.
And this time he's got rear end damage. Talked about it. It's been a rough start to the season for him. He finally had stuff go his way last week at Dover with a good run. Kind of saw that one already in progress. Spun down the back. Hit rear end first. We'll definitely see 4 tires of fuel this time. Battle J.R. Shepard, and like Shepard had a wiggle and hit the 6. Tight racing. Also, Shepard saying he was blinking quite a bit. I didn't see that, but it's different for the drivers. But not been a good night for him so far. But just kind of look, we've talked about how the right rears are wearing hard for these drivers. It just looked like they were racing really tight in a pack, and now he had just a little bit of a wiggle pretty late on corner exit, and he had nowhere to chase it but into the 6 of Adams. Here comes pit stops.
Not be surprised for everybody to take 4 tires on this one if that right rear is chewing up. The rest of them are soon to follow. Here on lap 40, you've got Jeff Wright coming down, Joseph McWhorter, Bryce Calusa, the top three. McWhorter all over the back bumper of Jeff Wright to the pit stall.
That could be an interesting pit exit. Wood green just long enough for Chuck Sweeting because he gets the lucky dog. He just needs 5 more of those, and he's back in contention. Helps Kenny Kibbe, too. He was not too far away from getting lapped.
Very unique paint scheme on the 75 this week.
Jeff Wright got off pit lane first. Yep, new paint scheme. Looks pretty sporty. Got damaged early, but he's right back in it. He'll get his fuel and tires this time by. As Wright got out first, McWhorter second, so he gets by Calusa on pit lane. Actually, no, he already was in front of him. So never mind that. McWhorter, Calusa, Hapiak, and Turner. So top 5 came out the same order.
Don't go anywhere. We have more coverage here on VSPEED in just a moment's time. Week number 8 from Kentucky in the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
A lot of chaos here around the top 5. And really loose for Hapiak coming off a turn 2 as we come back live here from Kentucky. Pit stops. Man, Hapiak came out of pit road around the 4th position. Now he's fallen back to 7th. He is loose.
Yeah, we saw Calusa get tight on the bottom on the restart again. Him and Turner had contact, checked up about 10 to 15 cars, and it really hurt Hapiak, lost him some track position. See him drove hard into turn 1, trying to get it back, trying to get clean air, because he's got a gap up to Bailey Turner now as the top 5 have gotten away, including the top 2. It's a hornet's nest back here behind Hapiak still.
Travato to the inside of Fernanda. He'll get by, but doesn't clear. He has the 2 to the outside. Ferrata going to go back on offense coming out of turn 4. Now back at the door to the 33.
Just really hard to make that bottom line stick when you're side by side with someone and you're seeing it in action right now. I mean, that driver on the outside just able to be patient on the throttle, get that run out of the corner. The driver on the bottom has to really be patient. If they got on the throttle a split second too early, they're going to either hit the wall or hit the driver on their outside, maybe both. It is a tough track to master racing a driver at.
Well, right on board with Travato in the 33, looking at the onboard telemetry, and you can kind of hear that throttle pick up and down because of that inside line. But now listen in when he goes into turn 1 with nobody on his outside.
Yeah, just dive to the bottom, try to wrap that yellow line, hope Ferrata doesn't take air off the nose. Got pretty clean air there, but even still, you see Ferrata, that big run off of 2, able to get right away from that 33 and pretty much not be challenged by that waste management car.
Joshua Banks in 12th position. Ferrata going to take another crack at a position for 8th spot. Gets around Reggie Ortega. Again, this goes back to the top 4. Who have kind of split off again. Seems like the air is a little less turbulent up here, single file.
Yeah, who would have thought? The further up you are, the less dirty the air is. Definitely seems apparent right now. Remember last time, when the first longish run started, we saw McWhorter kind of try to challenge Jeff Wright, got him aero loose a few times, couldn't make the pass work. Not the case right now. Jeff Wright setting maybe a little bit of a faster pace. McWhorter got away from Calusa. And how about James Lehman? Even through the tough instance to start this race, he is about the cracking of a top 3. Got a big run off the middle of the racetrack that time.
And that, I think, caught Calusa off guard a little bit. He wasn't ready to defend that.
He gave him the room, though. He's going to keep that spot. Just so hard to get any grip on the bottom there. I would not be surprised to see more drivers move up even higher in 3 and 4. I don't think we've even seen the extent of that high line down at that end of the racetrack. And even in 1 and 2, Lehman still running maybe 1 to 2 car widths off the wall. He pulls it down, kind of a diamond, kind of diamonds that corner, enters high, exits low. Didn't really generate the biggest of runs that time, but it's working for the short run. But we've seen this a lot from Lehman, where he can generate the move for the short runs, the line for the short run, but if you get a long run, he's in trouble.
See how it works out. 52 laps into this event now. Jeff Wright, half a second ahead of Joseph McWhorter. We saw this earlier before this caution that brought him down pit road. McWhorter had the speed initially, especially in that short run stint, but then it fell off and allowed Bailey Turner, Bryce Calusa, and I believe Nick Hapiak back into the mix for this top 3.
Yeah, we saw Turner and Hapiak have a good battle. This is furthest up we've seen Lehman, but yeah, we saw McWhorter, like we said, good short run, but not really able to challenge Jeff Wright on the long run, which no one has been able to do so far tonight, as we're about 15, 20 laps away from halfway. But we'll see if this is McWhorter just trying to back off a little bit, maybe trying to save his stuff so he can challenge that 48 on a long run and trying a different approach. If you're going to try to experiment with how you can save your tires, you got to do it now. You can't wait for the last half of the race to experiment. At that point, you got to know what you're doing. As Ferrata's just going where they ain't. There's clean air. He's going to go for it.
And that's product of the 20 positions gained so far for the 07. He's going to look to the outside of Carwile. He's going to fit the nose in there into 1.
That was pretty darn late, but I think Carwile saw it coming and gave it to him. But he just couldn't get the run that we've seen the 05 get, as he actually hit the wall pretty hard at it too, but don't think it did much damage. Though it looked like a hard hit. Behind him, they got Stravato and Joshua Banks. They're battling. That's for the 9th position. So Stravato move up earlier. He's kind of been stalled out at around 9th. Ben Lafter, Bryce Calusa's teammate, battling with Elliott Butler, who's already had a tense moment in turn 3.
been lapped. They're coming off of a great show. Second place, runner-up at Watkins Glen in the Challenger Series. Definitely a road course guy if I've ever saw one there. Just not the same story, though. He said he was going to run second here, but, you know, watching him on the intermediates and the bigger ovals, it seems like maybe something's just missing. If he could just figure out the momentum swing and how to get on and off, maybe the braking points. We've ran different cars all the way through this Cup Series, so you never really get used to things, whereas, you know, in the Challenger, we've been back-to-back on the B car.
Definitely different for the Challenger drivers, being able to run on the same car, and that's why it's a Challenger Series, kind of a series to develop your skills, and then you can run in this series where you kind of have to be ready for variations of different cars and stuff like that. Well, you know, after in this Cup Series, he's been in some tough incidents to start the season, and still looking for the speed, but he's definitely got everything he needs to succeed. You would think it's a matter of time, but a little bit of a struggle tonight, but I'm sure he's happy his teammates running up at the front, as I saw Reggie Ortega give the right side door to Donnie Kite. That's for the 10th there, excuse me, the 11th position.
Let's take a look back on this. Donnie Kite on the outside in a 1.
Stravado's right there. Maybe this is Reggie just missing the bottom because he couldn't see the bottom. That wouldn't be a surprise.
Maybe dirty air?
Could have been dirty air as well, but I think he was so locked into the back bumper of Stravado that he just didn't see the entry to the corner. Don't think he meant to do that, and I think everyone got away with it. Got Ferrata and Carwile side by side for 7th. Ferrata's got that spot.
Got more side by side for 3rd. Bryce Calusa and James Lehman has caught up to him. Still trying to complete it.
It's the same thing with McWhorter. You can get to their inside at a 2, but we have not seen a driver complete that pass when they get side by side to the bottom in 3 and 4. It's like you have to go into 3 trying to pack air on the driver in front of you to make that pass work. It is so tough to generate enough of a run to make it work. We'll see what he does right here. Looks like he's just gonna run a little bit of a groove higher, maybe try to generate this run on exit on this end of a track, but you just don't get as good of a run because there's not as much banking.
Yeah, it's
Donnie Kite got turned.
26 around. Caution's out.
Did a 360, kept on going.
It's going to save him from losing any more spots. I think when their caution fell, he might be up around 17th. It has not been a good race for Juicy Spider Cars tonight.
Got a lot of wiggling, a lot of slideways action going on, but Kite still got a clean race car after that.
He just had contact there a moment ago.
I think he got a little loose and Stravado couldn't check up in time, but got on the brakes, got on the wheel, did a nice 360, kept it going.
It's on board with Stravado. But it was just a moment ago that Donnie had passed Stravado and Ortega had actually made contact with him. Stravado was in front of that. Yeah, there's where the car kind of bobbles.
We've seen that so much since the update. You get someone right on your bumper, it gets that little bit loose, and if you're not ready for it as a trailing car, you're going to hit that car.
Watch the wheel here on Donnie Kite's onboard.
All good, all good. Stravado's going to get close to him right around here, and then that's where it gets loose, and that's where Stravado can't check up in time, but doesn't panic, keeps the wheel straight. Gets it right back going. It's a Josh Adams lucky dog. He went a lap down after being in the last instance, so he's back lead lap.
Got a lot of that damage repaired on the number 6. And wouldn't be surprised to see everybody down pit road again.
Should be second set of tires for most drivers. Everyone should have roughly 3 left at their disposal. With 80 laps to go, should be a one-stop from here, you would think. Probably too early to experiment with 2 tires, but how much do these drivers value clean air?
Well, if I'm Jeff Wright, I value it to the max, but I don't think I'll take 2 tires at any point in this race.
Well, unless it's like a green-white checkered, but at this point, you can let everyone else experiment. You guys experiment. You guys try to beat me. I'll just do my own thing.
Yeah, he's got a big enough gap from anybody gutsy enough to even make that call, and it's close here off of pit road. But Jeff Wright gonna get it.
McWhorter wanted it. He really thought he had him. I thought he had him. Just couldn't get enough of a drive to that 50-mile-an-hour mark on pit speed. 45, actually. Then Lehman third, Turner fourth. Calusa fell back to fifth on that.
Kenny Kibbe and Johnson New and a few others still down pit road here. Kibbe getting damage repaired.
Kibbe's trying to find that front end. Josh Adams, I think, still had some rear end damage, but he was also a lucky dog. But Chuck Sweeting wishes that 6 didn't go a lap down. He's going to stay 5 laps down, but he's very much still in it if he can get some quicker yellows with a clean race car. We've seen it before in real life. Jim McMurray at Talladega was down 6 laps at one point, got all the way back to the lead lap.
Seen a lot here on VSPEED. I've seen guys, you know, almost double digits come back, but for my sanity, I hope that's not the case. No offense to Chuck, but I would hate to see that many cautions. I really want to see some green flag pit stops here.
Chuck Sweeting's like, come on, man. I love Wreckfest, especially when I need him. He actually took the wave around there, so he is 4 down.
Changes the situation a little bit for him, but nonetheless, he's going to have to avoid the incidents and still hope that, you know, the race goes 25 laps or so. That seems to be the window that these guys will all come down pit road. And if it goes, you know, 5-6 laps, we'll have a guy stay out, guarantee it.
But it's going to be fun to track him and Kibbe on track. They took 2 different approaches. They both got damage in the same wreck. Kibbe decided to not repair all of it and stay lead lap, and he stayed lead lap. Chuck Sweeting, he decided to just get it all repaired and go down the laps that he did, which was 6. Now he's back to 4, so it's kind of a race within a race. See which strategy works out.
And for Kibbe right now, he's running in 31st position, still with a lot of damage on that machine, but slowly piecing it back together.
And right now, even though we've had some cautions, the attrition rate's not high. We're only down 1 driver, and that's Chad Klinger. Like you said, Chuck Sweeting's 4 down. He's the only driver laps down. We still have 31 drivers lead lap, and Jeff Wright picked the outside line this time.
Let's see if the changeup takes over. I think this track is starting to migrate towards that outside, so this might pay off. Here we go for another restart. Green flag at Kentucky halfway through.
Oh!
Wheel spin for the 73.
Oh, Ortega, big crash. Ortega, Case Lacadas, the 3 cars in it. Ray Massey's in it. Oh boy, that looked like there were games played on the front row, and it got all the way to the back. Ben Lafter's in it. We're just talking about him. Elliot Butler.
Telganoff, Lacadas, Massey. I believe that's Butler in the 16 there on the outside. They're stopped with Brandon Wallace just nowhere to go. He's parked.
I don't know where it started. Just they all stack up, and Ortega's the first one to spin. Then Telganoff and Lacadas got together. It's just one of those restart stack ups. We see them a lot. A lot of contact, a lot of people checking up.
Let's see if we can get a better look at this from the blimp camera.
It's like everyone's like not really, everyone's like going a different speed. It was really weird. I'm not sure if there are games being played, but there was a gap from row 1 to row 2, and then everyone just kind of kept trying to close that gap. Then it went green. It was kind of a really weird scenario. But when you have inconsistencies in the rows like that, you're kind of gonna get those types of dirty restarts. Not dirty, but like
dirty.
Messy restarts.
Yeah. dirty, yeah.
Not dirty, but dirty. The messy restarts. I mean, you get everyone spread out like that, you're bound to have those types of stack ups. Now we have a lot of drivers repairing damage. That's what Kenny Kibbe wants to see, and it's what Chuck Sweeting wanted to see. Now he's 3 down.
Right out of the gate there. There's the 15 of Christopher Hodges. He's had an up and down weird day. He started all the way back in 27th and now finds himself back in there, but he's pulling the strategy. He's going to top off with fuel here. Doesn't have any damage on the 15 car, and he's kept it clean so far.
Probably can't can't make it on fuel from here. You're still roughly, I don't know, 15 to 20 short, but might as well try to, you know, if we get a green flag run from here, he can stretch that fuel longer than anyone else. Western Kentucky branded car.
He was running a Giants car in the Challenger Series, and I'd rather see the Western Kentucky. For sure. New York Giants, man. I tell you, it's exciting weekend for football. I don't know if you have a team, Connor, but
it's actually the Giants.
Ah, wow. Guess I won't mention Green
Thursday.
Bay.
We're not in the same league at this point with how good Green Bay is. It's fine.
Well, I'll say this. I got 2 fears, and one of them was losing to the Browns when that one happened, and now I'm worried about the Vikings and the Lions. Lions look really good.
Lions, yeah, not really surprised about that. Looks like Jeffrett's going to pick the inside this time. Now Turner's second. That really hurt McWhorter. Now he's back to 4th, so kind of back, and not really back to square one. It's back to square -1 because he's kind of been on the front row or in 3rd ever since the start. Now he's got a little bit more work to do, especially with the 48 picking the bottom, so he won't be able to get the jump on the leader like James Lehman will.
That wheel spin there for McWhorter set him back a couple, but lucky didn't get rear-ended there. He was able to pull it down a lane, heads-up drive there, knowing that the car was going to do that. I guess responding to the car doing that, and we'll watch with Jeff Wright on another restart. This is the first time we've seen the 48 and 24 side-by-side since the drop of the green flag. I think it's a perfect opportunity. We're right around halfway. Let's see if we can go green, Connor, and maybe we'll turn it up a little bit here. What do you think?
I think we might have to. I don't remember if we did it last week.
I don't believe we did. We missed it there, and so we'll go an extra lap here. Find those remote controls, those volume knobs. Let's file a noise complaint and get loud here on VSPEED. The Saturday Night Racing League Get Loud segment presented by FireStorm Racing. Sights and sounds from Kentucky. Get Loud presented by FireStorm Racing, and Jeff Wright, James Lehman pull away about 0.7 of a second from Bailey Turner. What a massive lead for the top two.
If anyone's going to be aggressive and try to get the 48 out of line, it's going to be James Lehman. He's the one who's going to drive harder than almost anyone else on the short run, and he's got as good of a shot as he's going to get at Jeff Wright. Kind of inching up the track, trying to get that clean air, get a run off the corner. It's working. Getting closer ever so slightly. He's got no pressure from behind either, so it's going to help. Saw someone hit the wall back there. I think it was John Sanu, but he kept it straight.
Watching this deficit start to dwindle. Another 10th there, roughly. About 0.07 of a second for Lehman. And he's definitely running an aggressive line here. He's caught up to Jeff Wright. He's within striking distance. He needs to get that air on it.
You saw Wright kind of inch up the track there, maybe to put some air on the nose of the 05, but Lehman went even higher and still got that run.
Not enough that time out of 4. Another great run, and I think we're about to see a battle for the lead. And I don't know if James can actually complete it. This is the same scenario he was stuck in earlier. He had to make passes on pit road. That's what's put him in this situation. And I don't know that he has that pass out of 4, and that seems to be where everybody keeps catching each other.
He's got to try to pack Aaron through. We've been saying it. So he's going to get him close to him here in turns 1 and 2. But now Jeff Wright goes up the track even further, takes that air away, but he's not taking it away fully. He's going to give the 05 that lane. He's going to get a decent run, but no, he's got a good run actually, but he's going to have to drive it in really hard. Otherwise, he's not going to make this pass work.
Yeah, it's, again, back to the same scenario for James Lehman that he had with McWhorter, what he had with Turner. Just can't clear him off of 4. It isn't working so far.
It's really tough. When you get a run like that on him, the best thing you can do is lift and just plant your nose right under the rear bumper of the 48 and get him air loose into that corner, get that run off the 4. Still waiting on someone to do it. Not really close enough to do it this time.
Had his chance there a moment ago. Jeff Wright getting a little bit wiggly. Not enough air, though, to affect his handling and put him back. Let's see if the 05 does it this time.
He drove in a lot harder than Jeff Wright did.
Does he stay in line here, Connor? Does he get the run off of 2? No, he's going to get right up on him. There we go.
He's got to enter on his bumper. He's just not willing to do it right now. Still trying to inch a little further up the track, but that time Wright kind of covered him well.
Almost ran out of racetrack that time out of 4.
And the problem is if you don't get him soon, you're not going to get him. And it will be 10, 15 laps from now, he'll be gone. So if you're going to drive this hard to get to the bumper of the 48, you got to get him now.
Showing he has the speed. But can he lead this race? Deeper in this field, Ferrata, another driver that's been kind of diamonding, late apexing these corners, and it's paid off. Now 23 spots up. Still 1 up on James Lehman. And Nathan Ferrata, 23 spots. Incredible drive.
Got a pretty good run out of 4. But it's kind of like he's already lost that ability in his tires to get that run off the corner at a 2 like he was. These two, like you were mentioning, his battle for seconds ongoing behind that battle for the lead. Ferrata, McWhorter, Bailey Turner all right there. Ooh, Jeff Wright got a little sideways out of 4, but it's just not enough for Lehman to get there. He's going to be given the bottom by Jeff Wright here, though.
I'm a little bit aero loose, but can he drive it off the corner?
He's going to try to hit
Touch
the apron a little bit. Going to slide up, run him out of room. This might be it. He's got to drive in hard. He's got to go for the slide job. Try to get this clean air right now. Wright drove it in a touch harder. It's a fight. I think he's got him. Took 80 laps. We got a new leader.
James Lehman in the 05 first lap led today. 23 spots to get up here. Elected not to take a qualifying time. After starting in 24th, it's been a long, bumpy road. Jeff Wright's not going to give up easily.
He's going to pack air right back on him. I was kind of surprised Wright gave him the bottom there to get to his inside into turn one. It ended up kind of costing him, running him out of room. Now he's going to get that clean air on the bottom, trying to make it work, but the outside's still going to work. Lehman a little sideways, but got that run, got away.
We'll go deeper through this field. Back here to the 7th position. AJ Stravado in a 2/10 situation. 8th spot, Joshua Banks in 9th. Nick Hapiak in 10th. And Connor, the way this run's going, I hope, I really do, that we see some green flag pit stops. That's part of the variety of racing we haven't seen yet. That flavor I like.
Have to wait and see. I mean, you can make it, you could borderline make it on fuel from this point even, so any yellow will take us away from that probably. So we'll just have to wait and see. Pretty spread out at the front. First change for the lead, I believe, all day. I believe Jeff Wright had led all 80 up to that point. Stravado trying to find his way. He's kind of been stuck 8th to 9th ever since the start of this race, trying to get by Ryan Carwile for what is the 7th spot.
Yeah, caution comes out now. I think you could probably stretch this to the end. Be close. 55 laps, I think, was the limit that McWhorter said, but I think, you know, guys like Bailey Turner, they could probably go an extra 2 or 3 laps. That's close.
Yeah, that was tight. I don't know, Carwile thought Stravado was going to push it to the inside there. Almost had contact. Stravado wants to go. Carwile trying to defend. But really the closest battle on the track besides that one for 7th is still the battle for the lead. Wright's right back to the bumper. Lehman can't get away.
He's going to lead another one this time by, but he has not broken away with that clean air. And Connor, I think the factor now is that James Lehman had to drive the car so much harder on a different line to get to Jeff Wright. Now he can't get away from him.
If he can just run his line, though, best he can without getting aero packed, he can be fine, and that pass is still going to be really hard for Jeff Wright to make. You can't just give Jeff Wright the spot. You at least got to fight, hold onto that car, and make sure he works hard to get around you. And the best thing you can do is hold him back, because it might put him into other traffic. I mean, Bailey Turner was a touch faster than both drivers last time by. McWhorter and Ferrata and Calusa, I mean, they were all faster than the top two, so the more you hold them up, the more drivers you bring into it, maybe more competition for the 48.
Oh, man.
Lehman almost hit the wall, but more competition for yourself as Jeff Wright really drove it into 3.
I don't know about you, Connor, but if I saw that 48 in my mirror, I'd be really close to the wall, too. There he is.
He's kept up enough momentum, and Jeff Wright is, you know, some corners he's going to his inside, but other corners he's staying right on that left rear, making sure he
playing with them.
There. It is kind of, he's almost trying, you almost think he's playing with his food.
Yeah.
You think it's a matter of time, but you never know. I mean, we saw Charlotte, we thought that was the case, and then he dropped like a rock. This, you think, has a different feel, but this pass on the inside still really hard to make. And he's driving hard. I mean, Jeff Wright's driving that car pretty hard off the corner, chasing it up. He just can't get enough grip to pull alongside.
The pass going on back here for the 14th position. It's Caleb Weekly going by Josh Adams in the 6th car on board with Weekly. Haven't had an onboard camera with him yet.
Woo! That bad foot leads tight. Weekly trying to get back through the field, as is Josh Adams. Really, the furthest Josh Adams has been up since his 2nd incident. As Weekly's been working hard all night trying to get that car dialed in, as once again saw that battle for the lead get side by side, but Wright cannot make the bottom work.
Weekly with a crossover all over Adams.
Ooh.
Thought there was going to be contact there. Just behind, there was some contact. I think Eddie Trejo might have got into the back of Donnie Kite.
It was close, but I think Kite might have just gotten arrow loose, as this is a Hornet's Nest 14th to 18th. From that battle to Sanu, even up ahead, battle for 8th is tight. You got Carwile and Banks side by side with Hapiak watching them.
We'll look 3 wide here into 3 and 4 on the high line here for Donnie Kite. Trejo down low. And Kite almost ran out of racetrack, had to lift out of the throttle. Up here to this one, the other Hornet's Nest.
There's a number of them right now. As Banks wants it, I think he's a touch faster. Carwell's kind of faded off of Stravado. since they had their battle, and you could really see he's struggling to get off the corner. I saw Jeff Wright go a groove higher than Lehman as well, trying to generate a run. Can't quite do it. Side by side for fourth, actually, Farad and McWhorter.
So I'm going to wonder if that outside line maybe is chipping away at these guys that are running the bottom. Maybe it's just not fast enough down there initially.
I think the track's just too snug. It doesn't seem to matter what car it is. That bottom line, it's just really tight down there. It's hard to get to the bottom line to the point where you just kind of give up. And at that point, you run the top because you can't get to the bottom. You're like, oh, this is actually faster.
One lead change, 5 cautions.
Oh, Ferrata.
Ferrata loose off of 4. Good save.
Oh, that was close.
He's still chasing.
Looks like Ryan Carwile came to the pit. Yes, he did. That is early if you're going to make that stop. That is an early stop.
It's early, but it's enough to make it on fuel.
It's going to be a splash and go, maybe. I can't imagine that's going to be the case. Maybe 2 tires? Don't know.
4 tires would make the most sense to me on this one if I'm Ryan Carwile. I mean, he's running just top 10. I don't think he would take 2.
He hopes this goes green. He hopes this goes green. Otherwise, this is not going to work. We'll see how it works out. There's all these lead lap cars getting around.
Oh, Jeff right in the wall.
Ooh, that was a pretty big hit. It's almost like he drove pretty hard trying to get by Lehman, and actually, kind of like we saw Charlotte, kind of drove his stuff off. Saw Ferrata get in the wall, entering 3 again. He's falling back to 6th. It's just like, almost looking just like Charlotte. He gets in that dirty air, and it is a heck of a change in how your car handles, and it's just so hard to keep up with. That dirty air really affects the car.
We're back here with the battle of Nick Hapiak, J.R. Shepard. This is for 9th position. Coming off of turn 2, it looks like Hapiak actually got a really good run there off the corner and pulled away a little bit from the 98. But it's been turbulent, to say the least, for these Juicy Spider cars. We can check all over this field. You also have the 02 of Hunter Sr., Donnie Kite, Josh Adams. They've hung around, though. And that's part of the whole thing of champions. You gotta stick it out. Josh Adams was kind of left for dead there on the backstretch at one point in this race, and he's back up to 13th.
Got some damage on the front end and the back end. Had to repair this car twice, and he's up to 13th. Might be the highest he's been since the lap 1 incident. It's been when he started 16th. Or not lap 1 incident, but the early incident, first caution. Be able to stick it out, get through the field just a little bit.
Donnie Kite also had a situation there, but he had a heck of a save too, and he stuck it out to 14th position. Nick Hapiak would be the highest runner of these Juicy Spider Studio cars, but that might change here soon. Here comes Hunter Sr. And a shout out to Hunter Sr. coming back. I mean, Potter, I gotta say, I felt really bad for this guy. He had a top 10 going for him. Probably 7th place to finish out at Watkins Glen. And with around 5 to go, base plant into the wall, the pit wall out of turn 7, ended his day.
Watkins Glen, no joke. Those pit walls are no joke at any racetrack.
They don't move.
I haven't talked about Senior a lot tonight. Been a consistent top 15 run though. And kind of trying to inch away from J.R. Shepard. Saw Caleb Weekly pit from 17th last lap, so it's the 2nd scheduled stop. I think I saw Chuck Sweeting come to pit lane. He's laps down, so no matter. But this gap not coming down. It's kind of stalled out right here at around 7/10 of a second.
So I just wonder if Jeff Wright maybe let Lehman get out ahead of him a little bit here so he can nurse this car back and keep Bailey Turner from catching up to him, because you don't want to bury yourself another car deep from the lead. Stay in 2nd and try to beat him on pit road.
We kind of saw that at Charlotte. Once he lost the lead, he started fading hard. If not for those late race yellows, he wouldn't have been in contention to win that race. He was pretty much out of it at that point. But he's got to try something to stay in the game. Every now and then he is faster than the 05, but they're kind of alternating lap times back and forth right now. Same thing with Bailey Turner. They're all kind of running the same speed right now.
Just McWhorter hot on the tail of Bailey Turner, your points leader.
It's like another pit stop. It's Reggie Ortega from 19th position. So some drivers trying to elect to get on the early side of pitting, hope for something to happen.
Well, this is right in the window, Connor, and I think shortcut on this pit strategy, especially if you have damage like Ortega does, or you're outside of this top 15, go ahead and undercut this fuel and undercut the pits, maybe gain a few spots in the long run. If you're pretty good about saving your stuff, I see no reason why you couldn't salvage the day in the 15th.
You're looking at the laps. We went green lap 68, so it's really not that far off, actually, for Reggie Ortega. I mean, you're roughly going to see these drivers pit around lap 105 to 110. We will probably see drivers stick it out, hoping for that yellow, but I take that back. Reggie Ortega still kind of right on schedule. Just a little early on the early side, but not too bad, as McWhorter got to be inside of Bailey Turner.
Maybe 10 laps sooner than you would want to bring it in. But there's the last pit laps for these guys on the left-hand side.
Got a lot more in this time. Josh Adams, Eddie Trejo, John Sanu, Ray Massey. That's 4 cars in the top 20 right there. But it's going to be one of those front runners. The first one in the top 5, I think, to commit the pit lane. Then you're going to see everyone come down. It's getting stacked up behind Bailey Turner in third. McWhorter just lost that spot to Calusa. Good run for Bryce Calusa.
Yeah. Yeah, he started on the pole, and that kind of caught us off guard, and he's hung around all race long, so I know, kind of silenced the doubts here in the broadcast booth. I never try to show my bias, but it was surprising. I didn't even see that in practice, Connor. I watched all the way through the practice session. I saw his name up there with some decent times, but to come out here and just fire off and beat Jeff Wright, that was impressive.
Was impressive, and like you said, he's been able to stay up here. Not a fluke, hasn't fallen really outside the top 5 all race. Here comes Joe McWhorter to pit. One of those front runners, he started losing spots, he committed the pit lane, so that's going to get Jeff Wright and James Lehman thinking a little bit about keeping that track position, keeping that clean air.
Yeah, I think now 105 and 36 laps to go. I think now's the window. Beyond splitting this run in half or 43 laps on the stint, I think now's the time.
Yeah, Lehman's at the bottom. It's the lowest he's been. He drifted up there. I thought he might pit. Looks like no one else is responding.
He's going to blink.
I like that from McWhorter. No one pitting there. I think I like that, but we'll see how long all these drivers try to stretch it.
And decent execution on pit road here for Joseph McWhorter. 43.1 in the box now. Down pit road and back out on the racetrack in 21st. Austin Belkey, Elliott Butler battling. There it goes, Ray Massey on much fresher tires. He brought it down pit road just a couple laps ago. So the 23 car going to look like a rocket ship as he passes John Sanu in the 86. No, thought he would fly right on by.
Hunter Senior's in from 8th, 02 hits pit lane. Another lap, all the rest of those guys in the top 6 don't come in. AJ Travado joined that battle as well, and Banks isn't too far behind from it. Trying to look at the fall off mainly for our leader Lehman. Fastest time on this run, his fastest lap of the race actually at 31.5. He's running 33.1s right now, so roughly what we expected. 1.5, 1.6 seconds of fall off.
But consistent, and a 10th a lap here, a 10th a lap there, and pretty soon you've got a 1 second gap, and you can kind of dictate when these other guys pit.
And I get waiting for a yellow, I get wanting the fresh tires, but I really do like where McWhorter pit if this cycles out. It's just up to him to get through this traffic that he's going to be in and get a decent gap, as I think Jeff Wright's coming to pit lane. Here he comes. Here comes Travado as well.
Locking up the brakes. They get it on. No black flags.
Oh, well, no, Happy Act's good, but he was pretty squirrely. I think if you're James Lehman, you have to come in. You have to respond. Would be surprised if we see some drivers who haven't been great on the long run, like Turner, mainly, try to stay out some extra laps. But Lehman's going to stay out another lap. I don't like that. Here comes Calusa. Here comes Nathan Ferrata. Oh, Ferrata's making the pass on pit entry. I didn't see that until tonight.
Gotta find that 07.
He got to the inside of Calusa on pit lane. That could end up being huge.
See me back this up a little bit more. Watch this pit entry. Almost ran him over.
He almost ran him over. He's realizing, okay, you're a little slow. I'm going to make this pass. And I think he's going to get him on pit exit. Actually, I believe... Well, no. Bryce Calusa's still putting the tires up. Thought he might have gotten a penalty. But he's all good. And Ferrata, it's going to be a drag race between those two on pit exit. But I think Calusa just barely got him. And we're still waiting on Lehman and Bailey Turner to pit. Donnie Kite's in, Angel Horonis in, Lehman's on the bottom, this is my sign that he's pitting. And here he comes. I don't know, I think he waited maybe a little bit too long.
Yeah, and that entry to pit road was a little bit slower than what we saw from Stravato and Jeff Wright. And you also have McWhorter that's been out there for quite a while.
Also Brian Carwile, he's ahead of McWhorter still, so I guess technically right now it's Carwile cycling out to the lead. McWhorter is actually still pretty far off him, but the difference in tires is pretty severe. Now it's Bailey Turner. Now he's good at saving fuel. I don't think this is possible though.
No, this is an extra almost 30 laps. It's just, yeah, it's not going to happen. They're at their window now. They're within 5 laps of their window. And miracles.
This won't happen, no.
No. Oh, and he's
not
loose.
Doing that. Tires are going to wear out before the fuel almost.
Yeah,
the
I think you bring it in.
Last pit lap 66 or so. You could probably get to 10 laps from now. You could probably make it to 20 to go in pit if you're just hoping for a yellow. Ryan Carl's coming around to get his lap back, basically. So
oh boy, Johnson knew very loose off the corner there.
That's who Bailey Turner's looking at, like, go, keep getting loose.
Hoping for a caution in the 24. He's only got about 3 more laps he can go.
Right now, it's a race to Ryan Carwile. Whoever gets there first. McWhorter, you got Carwile, who really short pit. McWhorter, who beat everyone in pit lane. And then Jeff Wright, who might have hit the sweet spot, trying to close in on that 73. But you know they're going to battle each other hard once they cross paths.
This thing looking like a handful, but Brandon Wallace, Chris Hodges, I think they're in a decent scenario to maybe lead a lap. Not in a good scenario for the other side of this strategy, though, if they continue to stay out. I think they're just trying to get a bonus point here. Chris Hodges just ahead of Brandon Wallace.
Bonus point matters if you're racing for the chase, that's for sure. As you got 7 drivers roughly that have in pit. Bailey, I think Josh Adams also has in pit. Turner 2, Austin Belke, top 5 have in pit. Then you got Ricardos in 7th. I believe Josh Adams in 10th does not pit either. I could be wrong. No, I am wrong. Josh Adams did pit. So really about 6 cars yet to pit.
There was a 29 of Angela Horonis. Jared Shepard up here racing with the 6.
McWhorter's just got up to Carwile. Right now, that's the battle for what would cycle to be the lead.
There's a 10-lap difference on tires. McWhorter going to go by on the inside pretty easily here.
And now he's hoping Carwile puts up maybe a little bit more of a fight to Jeff Wright, because that's going to be the battle. 73 and 48.
Around 20 to go.
Here comes Turner.
I think I agree with you here, Connor, at this point. I don't think there's enough time for James Lehman to get back to the lead.
I just didn't like waiting that long. I mean, I always, every time in iRacing when you get the green flag pit stops, I feel like you have to plan to cut it in half and then see where you are on track once you get to maybe 10 laps, 5-10 laps from halfway in a run, and then kind of formulate what you're going to do then. But everyone kind of runs, it seems like everyone else just runs everything way longer than usual, and it ends up biting a lot of people. We've seen it before in this league. Might be seeing it again today.
Well, Hodges got a lap lead. It looks like Brandon Wallace is going to get a lap lead now. Oh, wow. Hodges, very loose.
Ooh. Oh, Josh Adams is sliding turn 2. It's going to be the caution, and it is. Oh, and he got hit hard by his teammate, Nick Hapiak. Oh, my goodness. And that one's going to do Josh Adams in. And Brandon Wallace just hit the jackpot. Wow, this changes everything. It has not been a good night for Josh Adams. Looks like Bryce Calusa might have hit him, spun him out right in front of Lehman. These guys get by it. And then Adams rolls down the track. He didn't hold the brakes and gets his teammate involved in the process. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Yep, right there, Calusa hits him.
I just wonder if the 6 got loose prior to that.
Hard to tell from that angle. This is, man, this really changes things.
20 to go. Did you expect anything different here, Connor?
I guess not. It's kind of been the theme of the season. I think he just hit him.
Just a light touch, but enough to get the car sideways. And
but right
now this
here,
is the worst part of the whole thing.
Yeah, right there. He tried rolling, and he really just needed to keep it locked down. That was his best chance of everyone missing him at that point. Instead, he kind of lets off the brake, rolls it down the track, and gets his poor teammate Hapiak involved. Hapiak was rolling up to it pretty quick with the yellow out, but still, you gotta lock that thing down. Wonder if Austin Belke's out of gas here. See, there's a big gap from Stefan Davis to Austin Belke here. I think Belke ran out of fuel, and this is gonna give those lead lap cars, Brandon Wallace and another
Hodges.
driver, Hodges, it's a huge advantage. Because if you pass him entering pit road, you get a penalty, so they have no choice but to stay behind the 89. Now they get to pass him, but at that point, it's already too late. Hodges and the other driver, Brandon Wallace, get a free pit stop.
Wow.
A lot of drivers coming back for their final set, though. Pretty much everyone. Watch the pit exit, though. This could be contact. Wallace is out clean. Hodges out clean. Hodges got by Brandon Wallace, actually.
Well, there's another factor here that we didn't touch on. J.R. Shepard just pitted 3 laps ago. He stayed out.
He sure did. Bryce Calusa actually out of the drivers behind the top 2. Bryce Calusa got out first on 2 tires. Bailey Turner took 4, and he came out second. The J.R. Shepard's the real lottery winner here, besides the 99 and the 15.
Donnie Kite also staying out, but he has about 10 laps on this stint here. And again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's not been a good race for Juicy Spider Studios tonight, and with the 6 and the 06 out, they were the highest runners of this group. Now with, excuse me, my voice is giving up. I just did about an hour and a half at Watkins Glen, but Donnie Kite is now the highest runner of these cars. Hunter Sr. back to 15th.
I don't know how to call it this time. I don't know how to call it now. It was straightforward. It was Jeff Wright and James Lehman, Joseph McWhorter. Now it's all jumbled up. Now it's chaotic. It's hard to get it more chaotic than last season, if you remember that finish.
Hold my beer.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to hear that. Depending on how this ends, it's going to be an 18-lap run to the finish.
I like where this is sitting for some of these guys that might not have had a chance otherwise, though. The way this caution fell, this puts them in a great scenario if not a win, at the very least a top 10 out of this. But for Donnie Kite, 10 laps in the stint compared to everybody else. Yeah, that's going to be hard to fight and stay up here.
Definitely like Jared Shepard's call more. He might not have even had tires on. He might have been coming out of the pits as that yellow came out. So timing was perfect for him. And he's got some speed when he gets up near the front. So I think he's in the best spot here. And obviously big opportunity for Wallace and Hodges. And from Calusa on 2 tires to Bailey Turner, for those guys, it's all a matter of who gets through this first.
Will we see wheel spin on the outside from the 26? It's tight here for the restart. Green flag back underway. There is some tire spin, but the inside line gets going. And here goes J.R. Shepard into turn 1 with the advantage, almost 0.3 of a second.
Wallace didn't go. 20 got taken out of line by Bailey Turner. They're almost going to make contact, but J.R. Shepard, great restart, got away from it all.
And this is going back to 26 car, 10 lap owner tires. He's going to have a hard time holding on, but he will stay in third for now. Here comes Bailey Turner to the inside. The dominant driver of the day, Jeff Wright, is back here around 10th.
And even further back, James Lehman's in the Hornet's Nest in the middle, about 15th position. Oh, 24 slid up.
Oh, wow.
In the wall, 3 wide.
They're going to send it into 3 and 4, more 3 wide in front of them.
Oh, Calusa got hit. They're wrecking at the back. The caution's going to come out for the wreck at the back. Johnson New and Reggie Ortega crashed. I thought it was going to be the wreck for 4th. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, up there, it looked like that was where it was going to happen. Johnson New pushed up the track a little bit here.
Yeah, instead it happens for about 17th. Sanu went in there, kind of washed up, got into the 2 car, nowhere for Belke to go.
I want to watch this from the onboard of the 86. I mean, there was a lane here in his defense, but it closes quickly. That's the flatness of 3 and 4, and so we saw that earlier in the race with James Lehman. Here's the opening, it's there, and then now it's not.
Yeah, I mean, he started washing up the track at the same time. I don't think he expected the closing rate to be that high, honestly. I think Ortega was right behind another car, checked up his entry into turn 3 a little bit earlier, and I don't think Sanu wanted to make that move. That was because that was from pretty far back.
Yeah. Definitely didn't want to make the move post hindsight there. And uh-oh.
Drivers at the back pitting.
It's more laps ticking away here.
Jared Shepard, I think he would have been fine seeing that one go green. He got away, and really those guys on the tires weren't able to make too much ground up. Bryce Calusa was able to stay ahead of everyone on 4 tires. Remember, he's the only one that I saw take 2 tires. Ben Lafter, his teammate, got the lucky dog, so for the time being 25 lead lap cars. But thought Turner was going to get by him there, but Calusa was able to get in front of him, and then Calusa just about got turned by Bailey Turner before that yellow came out. But Hodges, good restart for Hodges too, was able to get to that 2nd spot.
Well, what do you say we pull one of these guys up here? I think J.R. Shepard is the guy we need to pull up.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot to say. He's got a lot on his mind right now, that's for sure.
J.R. Shepard, it's Bradley Cooper and Connor Horn in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
This thing fell right in your lap. Perfect execution there with the caution falling and where you were on pit road. You come back out here, you've got a nice cushion of cars just behind you, and now we're ticking away laps. This could be the one.
I'd like for it to be, but I was a little bit dumb on that pit stop and had the auto fuel on, so I didn't take all the fuel. I got enough to get to the end, but the car's really tight now because of that, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we're not worried about missing out and not making it to the line, so that alleviates one part, but the handling, how has it been out here tonight?
Yeah, it's been pretty tight on corner entry. And and then it kind of goes into a four-wheel slide as you apply the throttle through the center of the corner, and you're just kind of chasing it all the way from the center off. So been a little bit weird tonight, definitely tighter now. So hopefully we can get a good start here and see what happens.
You got a lot of names there in the Discord channel: DPM, SAS, WPA. Go ahead and shout those guys out before we go back green.
Oh yeah, appreciate all those guys. A lot of road racing that we do on the side, and we've been hanging out with each other for a long time. So it's cool to have a good group of friends like that you can race with.
All right, J.R. Shepard on the restart. You have Christopher Hodges to the outside. Good luck for these next roughly 13 laps.
I appreciate it, guys.
Well, he's realistic with himself. He made a mistake there on pit road, Connor, and I don't know how this Gen 4 car handles. I haven't driven it enough to know. Is that a factor with the horsepower? Is that going to affect him?
It's kind of a thing on iRacing in any car. With the fuel level matters a lot, changes the handling a lot, raises and lowers the rear end. And like you said, he didn't take a lot and it tightened the car up. That's something he's going to have to deal with. So if he gets put in dirty air, he's going to be in trouble. But being a leader is the best place he can be, obviously.
In the clean air for J.R. Shepard. What could be the final restart of the night. Remember, we have 3 overtime attempts. As we go back green, Hodges did not go, and he's going to lose positions.
That was great luck for Bailey Turner. He almost got into Donnie Kite there, but that let Turner get by Calusa up to 3rd.
So now it's up to Donnie Kite to defend. Hodges going to try to hold his own against Bryce Calusa down on the bottom in 3 and 4. Kite taking the high line to defend against the 24. Wow, impressive here for Donnie Kite.
And the more he does that, the more of a gap J.R. Shepard gets to that second place spot. And Turner tried to force it to his inside on the restart, couldn't quite do it. Now he's going to look to be inside 1 and 2, but if he can't stay alongside and kind of make a dive into 3, it's going to be a tough pass to make, and he got sideways. As Hodges got back to that 4th spot, big move by Bryce Calusa. He dove to the inside.
Elevator move on the backstretch. Turner might have him here.
Not quite. There might be contact. There was contact that time. Kite just kept it to the right rear quarter panel.
Gonna fight as hard as he can. He'll lean on Turner.
I don't know if Kite's gonna put up with that, but Turner knows he's got to go. But he just can't get the run. He needs a 1 and 2. I think if he's far enough alongside here in the 3, he'll just dive it in and slide up into Kite. Slide up in front of Kite, hopefully not into him, right here.
Will we see the crossover off of 3? Does Donnie Kite have enough tire to do that?
Sure does. He's going to look to the outside, and he's got the right rear back.
And J.R. Shepard loving what he's seeing in the mirror here.
Oh, he loves it. He just wants it to go green, though, but I think Turner's going to have the position for good this time.
And now the nerves are going to kick in. You're going to see that best drive of the night from the 24 to find his way back to victory lane. Hunter Sr. in 8th here, competing with Joseph McWhorter for the 7th spot.
Oh, Donnie Kite and Calusa made some contact. Kite's going to go up the racetrack. Calusa's up to 3rd. Like 26. Probably not liking the contact he's getting right now. Here comes Joshua Banks, going to take a spot. Whoa, Calusa got sideways on entry.
Snapped it free. This is going to open up the door for the 35 of Joshua Banks. First time in the top 3 for him.
Oh, Kite hit the wall hard that time. He's still fighting Christopher Hodges. That's for about the 5th or 6th spot. There is a mountain of cars back there.
It's 2 and 3 wide Kite.
You got the 2 dominant cars of the day trying to get back into it. Just running out of time. Last time by, top 2, Shepard and Turner, roughly the same speed. Really didn't gain much that time.
Senior on the inside of his teammate. Hopefully we don't see any more of the juicy spider crime that we've seen, the spider on spider wrecks that we've seen in the last it's been bad last 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, Ferrata got sideways. Thought he and Ray Massey were gonna have contact. Last time by, Shepard's faster than Turner.
He wants it to go green all the way to the end.
It just seems very unlikely, but I'm sure he's praying for it. 73 washing up. Oh, Jeff right sideways. There goes Ryan Carwile. Oh, James Lehman got spun. Brandon Wallace, big crash into turn number 3.
And Shepard says, can we hold it together for one more time around?
Just give me a break.
Oh, wow. Ray Massey.
Not what he needed. Starts with Carlisle. Well, everyone got sideways at it too. Everyone's racing as hard as they can. And everyone's just running out of racetrack, running out of grip. Carlisle gets sideways into the wall right here. Lehman can't check up in time. Then Ray Massey pile drove Lehman in the process. Belke, Caleb Weekly got involved. Whew. Just how season 5's gone.
There's the contact with the wall.
Massey right there. No, there's nothing he can do.
And for Brandon Wallace, this is just a roller coaster of emotion. And the other roller coaster of emotion is this guy right here.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Oh, dude, surely I don't think we're pitting here. I might have a set left. Right turn. Donnie Kite's gonna take his set.
Oh, recommitting for half the field here.
Some guys back half pit. Few drivers, most drivers there have damage though. Caleb Weekly does. Don't see damage on Horonis from 15th. He'll pit. Same for Stephen Davis.
This is almost going to be a green-white checker naturally.
Going to be about 3 laps, which is okay for Shepard, but I think it's bad because it gives Bailey Turner a straight shot to try to pack air on the rear of the 98, and that'll spell trouble. But it also brings Bryce Calusa's 2 tires back into it. Also got Joshua Banks there. 2 dominant drivers. James Lehman's damaged, and Jeff Wright, even through that, only got the 9th.
Also going to factor in Joshua Banks, who, in my opinion, has been quiet all day.
Yeah, not the speed we're used to seeing. We saw him at the front late at Charlotte, even without the yellows, but tonight he kind of has been struggling to get through the field. I think he got to about 8th position on the last long run before pit stops, but just hasn't been able to get up close to contention for the lead. Strategy and the track positions kind of worked his way, kind of like what we saw a few weeks ago, or whichever track he won at a while ago. This means a while
what was
since
the
he
name
won. Rockingham. It kind of just worked out. Seas parted for him.
Who
with
was
late
it?
race restarts there. Who was
Yeah,
it? What was it? When? Where? Why?
Always got the stats here, Connor. Appreciate that.
Crazy. That was over a month ago at Rockingham, but that was one of those where he wasn't really the fastest car at Rockingham, but he was able to stick it out, get the strategy right, and was able to lead just the 1 lap. Looks like Shepard's gonna pick the bottom. So that'll box Banks kind of in behind the 24. This could be an important restart for Calusa and also for Shepard. If Calusa times it right, gets side by side with the 24, that could help JR Shepard. But he's got to get away from Bailey Turner. If that 24 gets anywhere near the rear bumper, packs air on the 98, it's going to be tough to hold him off.
And I think I would take the approach that James Lehman had earlier in this race, is just run that outside and keep that guy down there. He showed that he's faster. They traded lap times, and I think over the average, JR Shepard was about half a tenth quicker. So I think if he takes that outside in 3 and 4 and just keeps Bailey Turner at bay, he can make it to the end of this with 3 laps to go from Kentucky. We're heating up the tires. We're doubled back up. We're not into overtime yet. We have 3 attempts at it here tonight. Let's see if we can finish it under regulation.
So far this season, last time we used overtime technically was at Pocono. We've used that at Daytona, Las Vegas, Rockingham, Charlotte, Pocono. 5 of the 7 races so far.
Shepard, Turner, Calusa, Banks, and Hodges, the top 5. Here we go again. 3 laps left in week number 8. Geico restart zone and an excellent jump here for the 98. And an even better jump for the 35. He's going to be all over the back bumper of Bailey Turner. This could allow Shepard to run away.
Exactly what he needed to get away from Turner in 1 and 2. He's able to keep that gap out of the corner.
Will be 2 to go at the stripe. He wants it to stay green. They're racing hard back there. I don't know if it's going to. They're leaning on each other.
That's his teammate Laughter leaning on Ortega. Actually, no, not teammates. Excuse me. It's Calusa's teammate. 2 to go. They're both driving it hard into the corner. Oh, car in the apron. Stephen Davis going to rejoin the track right in front of the 50. They kept it straight for now. Turner couldn't close in much.
Shepard just wants it one more time out of 3 and 4.
He just needs to see that white flag. He sees that white flag. That's all he needs. And Turner just cannot make any ground up.
White flag up in the air. One more time for J.R. Shepard. This is going to be it. The 98's going to find his way to victory lane. If he can hold on out of 2 and 3 and 4, he's got it.
Check up the entry from here. Turner just can't get close enough in that air. He's going to drive in hard, though.
He's going to send it down, but I think in the mirror, J.R. Shepard knows he's got the win. It's another driver to victory lane in week number 8. J.R. Shepard, after leading a handful of laps, he's won at Kentucky.
Oh, Ferrata crashed after the line with Belke. Pretty hard. What a job. The glass slipper fit for J.R. Shepard. The strategy, little bit of luck, goes a long way, but it works out for him. Another first-time winner. How about that?
And good for him. I mean, he's riding top 10 in points right now. He's looking good. Why not the 98 to victory lane?
He's a popular guy. I mean, there's no one who's going to be mad about him winning.
Everybody. And let's burn it down on the front stretch with the 98. This is going to be a long one.
I think so. '24th different winner in Saturday Night Racing League's history. Cup Series history, that is. It's gonna burn down the home front stretch.
Yes, he is. He's gonna tear it all up. I had to get it because this is a special day here for the 98. Excellent drive here for J.R. Shepard. Post-race interviews with your top 3. And those final race results coming up for week number 8. We finished it under regulation. More coverage will continue of the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and rolling costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome back to our post-race coverage. Presented by M&J Distributors, the Saturday Night Racing League put on a phenomenal show. And that race recap on the top of your screen with 8 cautions, 6 lead changes, and a driver that led 19 laps becomes the 24th different winner, Connor. Did I get that right?
What I got, it's my stat. I'm sticking to it.
24th different winner here at Saturday Night Racing League in the Cup Series. And Bailey Turner and Joshua Banks, previous champions here. They put up a fight, but it was that clean air that prevailed for the 98. Final results up on your screen, and we'll get an interview with those drivers we just mentioned. Joshua Banks starting all the way back in 23rd, but it's J.R. Shepard with a lot of moves up here. But it's Christopher Hodges who's going to get the Clark Print Shop Biggest Mover Award here today. Bryce Calusa finishing just ahead of him. He started on the pole tonight. Joseph McWhorter, a top 10 finish for him, and there's a lot of names here that were in the top 5 for a lot of the day that end up outside of it with Jeff Wright. You have Ferrata in there, Stravado in the top 10 most of the day. But man, just what a flip-flop there with that caution coming out with around 20 to go, Connor.
I'm saying story of the season. The races kind of gets flipped on its head the last 20 laps, it seems, in every race we do. How about Austin Belke? He almost got the biggest mover, but I think he's going to be one spot short, 32nd to 11th. Good run for the 89. Donnie Kite was up there on the strategy call, ends up 12th. Eddie Trejo, 13th. Angel Horonis, quiet day for him in 14th. Ben Lafter got a top 15 out of the day. Reggie Ortega, another rough one for him. Got some incidents not of his doing, 16th for him. Case Licata, 17th. Brian Carwile, that strategy call did not work out for him. 18th, Stephen Davis 19th, and Matt Shinosky, who's been top 10 in points start the season, got a top 20 out of it today.
Elliot Butler will finish in 21st. Ray Massey, who started in the top 5, up and down night for him, 22nd position, so down on the end of it. Caleb Weekly, 23rd position, involved in some incidents there at the end of this thing. James Lehman, who took the lead over, he was our first lead change of the night, and he led a vast majority of laps there in the second half of this race, and the 05 is going to end up 24th as he got into an incident on the backstretch with Brandon Wallace also involved in that. He elected not to take a time or maybe missed the grid here tonight. Keith Shoemaker 26th, and these cars one or more laps down with Kenny Kibbe, who, I mean, he stuck it out 27th, admirable, but still, just couldn't keep that car in one piece. Chuck Sweeting also damaged Johnson New late in the race in the 86th, 29th for him. Josh Adams, an early exit to this event with Nick Hapiak also getting damage from his teammate Andrew Toganoff in the 32nd, and Chad Klinger, our first DNF of the night, 132 laps down. But it's time to take you to victory lane. We just talked to this guy a moment ago, and we asked him, could this be the one? And sometimes the curse of the commentator works out. Sometimes we speak things into existence that you actually want to happen. However, I'm sure you wanted to see this race stay green when we had 13 to go, not 3 to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that for whatever reason I was able to maintain a gap. back to second place, and I was just hoping for it to stay green. I did not know how that restart was going to go, but yeah, thankfully it worked out. Just really, really cool to have this. Didn't expect that I'd even have a shot to win this season.
Well, you also need to go back to the air and the pack in the air on the back of the car. That's what you're probably the most worried about on the restart, is that Bailey Turner hangs with you on the initial start into turn one and gets you loose, correct?
Yeah, definitely. These cars are so aero sensitive. You don't have to make contact. You get within a quarter car length, and it seems like you're kind of chasing the car up the track. So I was definitely hoping to maintain that gap for that very reason, especially through turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4, you kind of have options to move around, but 1 and 2 is pretty much down on the bottom. And yeah, I told you guys under the brake or under the caution there, I thought I made a mistake not taking enough fuel. I felt like I had too much grip on that last run, but seemed to pay off on corner exit there.
And then finally, you go to the start of this race. You start in 22nd. You race your way to the top 10, but you stay out just long enough to come down pit road. We had briefly mentioned that there during that mid-race interview. I guess you'd call it a mid-race interview. During the race interview, I mean, I think Connor compared it to the glass slipper. It worked out.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. I knew all the guys around me were pitting, that I was kind of racing, but because of the number of laps that were left, I figured I would run it out and just have to work harder during that last stint to chase everybody back down and make passes. And I was hoping for a top 10 run at that point, but yeah, with the caution coming out right as we left pit road, it kind of closed all the gap that I lost, and then everybody else had been out enough to come back in. And the thing I didn't realize was that Bailey had only taken right side tires during that stop, so that's why he came back down pit road. Otherwise, it'd probably be a different story here.
Congratulations now on becoming the 24th different winner in Saturday Night Racing League. Anybody else you have in mind to shout out? I know this one's special.
Yeah, definitely. Just all of my teammates. You spoke about them during that interview under the caution. Having guys to hang out with, they push you each and every week and make you better. And like I said, I've been racing short tracks on iRacing with them for a long time. Been road racing with them for a long time, and they've always been around. So cool to have them come over here and race with us. And yeah, just thanks to the Saturday Night Racing League. Everything that the promoters do here, it's been fun. It's been frustrating at times, but to finally have something like this happen is pretty rewarding. So appreciate everything that you guys are doing up in the booth on the VSPEED side also, guys.
JR Shepard, 20 laps led, 24th different winner, and now going to bump you up a little bit in the points. Congratulations again, and we'll see you next week at Iowa.
All right, thank you, guys.
Fantastic show and well deserved. I mean, JR has been around here for a long time, Connor, and I know that he's been close quite a few times. He's kind of fit in that wheelhouse of guys that they just need that one race to go green, or that one situation on fuel, something to happen their way, and it always gets taken away from them. Finally, it comes to fruition for Shepard.
He's actually got funny enough, he's got one more start than Adam Cabot in this series, and tonight was his 30th start, able to get the victory, and one of his finer runs defensively. I mean, did a great job.
That will move us to our second place finisher, Bailey Turner. Connor Horn has caught up with the driver of the 24 runner-up here tonight.
Unfortunately, ended the stream on Discord, but either way, it's a runner-up for Bailey Turner. Bailey, kind of a tough race for you, obviously tough to try to gain track position. Got some at the end of the race, but just couldn't close in on JR. What more did you need on that final sprint to the finish?
Yeah, just raw pace, I guess. I mean, we were a top 5 car all night. Yeah, just tried to go off sequence with those guys. We've had some random cautions this race, and I figured, we were going to be due for one, and tried to get cute on the strategy and just say, hey, I'll just take 2 tires at the end and get enough fuel to make it to the end and shorten the pit stop. And then, of course, the caution comes out and gets everybody bunched back up, and I just didn't feel comfortable taking 2 and trying to hold everybody off for 20 laps like JR. I think he took 4, so kind of kicking myself for trying to get cute with strategy. Should have just taken 4 and gone with it, but Yeah, still happy with the P2. Just wish we could have got to JR's bumper to get him a little aero loose or something, but the leader just has such clean air those first few laps. It's real hard to track him down.
And we saw that all night with the 48 leading. I think the first 80 laps took a while for the 05 to get the pass done, and it was just hard to pass for everyone. Since the update to this car, less draft, but the dirty air is kind of shining through. How frustrating has it been kind of relearning the car and how to get these passes to go with the aero games?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, you say relearn it. I didn't really do a whole lot of learning anyway, just with this car anyway. Never really ran it prior to, hopping into SNR. So, yeah, luckily didn't have to teach myself anything necessarily new. Like you said, the draft effect is gone. So we're not all right on top of each other, which is definitely helpful. But the dirty air is much, much more prevalent. But, at the same time, you are able to get guys aero loose. You just have to kind of overcome that deficit with the dirty air at times. But we've been the model of consistency this season besides getting wrecked at Dover last week. So, I saw we got a 50-point gap to second place. So goal is, obviously I know there's going to be a reset, but just keep on carrying the momentum to the end of the regular season, hopefully capture that and see what we can do in the playoffs.
And like you said, you did extend your point lead by 4 points, but a 53-point lead still good. 55 over Shepard, who just won, but still, like you said, consistent run, decent run, led some laps, got those bonus points. So once again, decent run for you, Bailey, and still the points leader, reigning since the beginning of season 4. So we got that going for you as well. Anyone else you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, definitely all the boys over there at Sad Boys. It was a good time tonight. Had some good laughs. You guys obviously up in the booth. Fun to listen to you and Bradley go back and forth throughout the session, and obviously the admins and league sponsors for supporting everybody here and putting this on every Saturday night. I just went through a move, and I probably should have been putting all my stuff away throughout the house, and instead I built a sim rig in the afternoon and decided to come here and race. So
Priorities.
Yeah, I was gonna say the priorities. The fiance wasn't too happy with it, but I enjoy coming out here on Saturdays and hanging out with the boys. So appreciate everybody that puts this on, and we'll see you guys. I'm assuming we don't have a bye week, so I'm assuming next week.
I believe we are racing next week, and it is at Iowa. And for you got the most top 5s and top 10s in the series, which is obviously why you're the point leader. Still only one win, but still good runner-up for you, Bailey. Thanks for talking to us. See you next week.
Appreciate it.
Bailey Turner, second place finisher, and Connor, sorry to hijack your interview there, but that was so relatable. I think that's exactly what I would do.
I think it benefited him tonight. Saturdays are for the racers, and he proved that tonight. Definitely a grind. I mean, he said how tough the dirty air was when we asked him, and it's tough for everyone. He is the model of consistency. He's got the best average finish in the series by far, most top 5s, top 10s, and just racking up those points. Well, finally, it's time to bring up our third place finisher. It's Joshua Banks in the number 35. And Josh, I don't know if you're still live on Twitch or not, so I'm going to ask that first and foremost.
Yes, we're still streaming over here, my friend.
Oh, we're still streaming over here as well. So I'm not going to say anything too crazy, but where were you tonight? Like, you were so quiet. I was like, okay, Banks is running in 10th again, and then Banks is running in 9th again. And it was just a quiet night. And then suddenly, 20 laps to go, everything flips, and there you are again. Just like Rockingham, just like a few other times this season, you find your way in the hunt for a victory. Just maybe the strategy call. I don't know what it was there, but man, just a strange race for you.
Yeah, let's put it this way. It started out with just technology issues. So streams weren't working right. OBS was crashing, so I had to keep restarting that. And then personal life, my youngest was not going to sleep very well, so we had to stay a little late for that. So we didn't have time for any practice whatsoever on this track. So I didn't put a Q lap or anything in. I was like, all right, we're starting in the back. It's going to be tough, but learn some things, figure out the line and what we could do with the tires and everything. And we figured it out enough to get through most of the field and run that top 10. And, we were there to just be there enough, something were to happen. And then, of course, when that late caution came out, I had just taken tires, run a few laps on them, and I was like, we're going to go for 2, whether it sends me in the back or puts me up front. And sure enough, here we are sitting P3. Now, we had another restart that helped because we got to the outside of Calusa there. So
Yep.
If it wasn't for that, we were definitely going to be P4 or something if we didn't have it, because the car would just dirty air with 2 tires just was not, going to pass anybody else on a longer run. The short run right off the restarts when it did great. So here we are, and it's it's kind of hard to believe sometimes. It's like rocket. It was like, what in the world happened? I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal. And then, you go to J.R. Shepherd, 24th different winner here. You've been a part of Saturday Night Racing League in the Cup Series since its inception. It's 5 seasons now. You've been sponsoring for 3, I believe, if I'm correct on that. And, you add your 24th different winner. We could have our 5th different champion. You're a champion here at this series. It gets more and more competitive every single time. And you never know when something like this is just going to be handed over in a situation that you could have been on the wrong side of.
Oh yeah. And it's, you can tell, I mean, we're having a hard time getting through the field, and the competition throughout the entire field is stacked. I think, it's just, if you don't put the time in to learn the track and know what you're doing and do good with your tires, you could be just running top 15, top 20, and so you really got to be up on your game. This competition is tough. You're running up front, you're doing all you can to try to get the lead. Heck, for me, it's just be there at the end. I'm never one to be up front during the race. So just be there at the end. But it's tough, man. I mean, it's pretty awesome to see how this league is built over the years, last couple of years with the seasons as we've done. And it's been fun, dude. Loving it. Competitive, definitely makes me work hard on behind the wheel, and makes me better as a race car driver, having to go out here and try to improve on my skills each and every week.
And the variety of cars, the changes to the schedule, no road courses this year. I don't know who made that call. I think Jeff Wright has something to say about it, but congratulations again. Another podium finish for Joshua Banks. Anybody you want to shout out here for 20 positions gained?
Well, shout out to those 19 that I passed, because I got you. So either way, shout out to you guys in the booth for doing what y'all do. I appreciate the effort y'all put into it, and the class that y'all have up there. I mean, it's fun to watch these broadcasts. So thank y'all for what you do. Shout out to our admins with the league and what they do. I know I say the same thing every time I'm up here, but it's just, you don't get enough credit with behind the scenes of what admins do and behind the scenes with broadcasting and everything. So it's a lot of work going into this. So it's, as a streamer myself, setting things up, it's not easy. So it takes, like, for me, 20, 30 minutes to get everything running. And for y'all probably have a better rhythm, but it's still, you take time. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, it's streamlined, but you take time. So
right.
Shout out for everybody for doing that, and the admins for taking time to put this league together, and obviously, and keep it going, and putting a good group of guys here. We have a full field, fun to race, and definitely make it entertaining when you're driving through a pack of cars, instead of having like 10 or 15, So shout out to that. And then our sponsors, M&J Distributors, and everybody else on board that I am never going to remember, because I am dyslexic and forgetful and everything. So either way, shout out to all the sponsors, and hopefully we'll get back up here next week.
Joshua Banks, 3rd place. We're going to your comfort zone next week at Iowa. We'll see you then.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
There you have it. There's your top 3 post-race interviews. Connor, it was fireworks. I mean, the 24th different winner is an interesting statistic all its own. But again, looking back on the history, 5 seasons now, 4 different champions. We've got a decent lead here for Bailey Turner, but now we've added a new winner. We still have, I believe, if I'm correct, 5 races left here in the regular season. It's not over.
About 4 left. We go.
How about 4?
Iowa 4 weeks in a row. Iowa, Darlington, Chicagoland, and Martinsville. And you got really, Chicagoland might be the easiest track there. And that's not an easy track, especially with the horsepower we have. I mean, those are some tough tracks leading into the chase with the season, the chase opener at Kansas. I mean, it is going to be a tough grind for all these drivers. And I think at this point, we do have to start looking at that cut line on the top 12. Last one in right now, it's actually a tie for 11th. Christopher Hodges and Hunter Sr. tied for that final spot. Then Caleb Weekly 3 points out. Belkey, Butler, and Nathan Ferrata had a great night for points. Bryce Calusa, Laughter. I mean, there's a lot of drivers who could still point their way in, but there's also some guys back there who's really got to get going, like Chad Klinger, like Donnie Kite. Josh Adams, he's got to get out of a slump. James Lehman's back there. I mean, there's some guys running out of time, and there's guys right on that cut line. I mean, Hunter Sr., Kibbe, Sweeting, they're not safe. It's going to be a mad dash to the finish. But another nice stat about this season, we saw a lot of wins from Bailey Turner last season. Jeff Wright's still the series leader in wins with 3. But we have 6 different winners in 8 races, and that just shows how crazy these races have been, because we've had a lot of races this season dominated by a driver or 2, but that yellow comes out late. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to throw out a stat, and maybe I'm incorrect, but I believe it was 11 in season 2. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we'll try to have that for you as accurate as possible. I think we finished out season 2 with half of the guys in the top 10 or top 12 in points there with a victory at some point during the season. It's been a phenomenal season so far, but we have Charlotte coming up next week. This will be next Saturday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time for week number 9, and that will be for the Challenger Series, and then it's on to Iowa at 10 p.m. Eastern. You can catch that all here on VSPEED. Again, thank you very much for tuning in to the broadcast. Benjamin Richards, I saw you up there. Your boy got 5th position. Everybody here that helped put this together. My co-commentator, Connor Horn. Our cameras provided by Dougie Beard, Adam Baker, Morgan Cook, and Eddie Smith. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Kansas Speedway. 4 races left in the regular season. You don't want to miss it. So long, everybody. Stay tracking.